Hey, what is going on, everybody? Happy New Testament Tuesday. I'm Pastor Adam, and I'm so glad you decided to tune in, check out, and see what we've got going on today. I'm so glad you're here. We're going to continue on in our series of going through the Proverbs and looking at the proverb. What can we gain from it? And then also on New Testament Tuesday, we're going to look at, who in the Bible lived out that proverb. How can we see it in action? Well, today we're going to continue on. We're going to talk about Proverbs chapter 10, verse 2 and 3. So if you are not caught up, go back and watch Old Testament Thursday and then come back, join us for today and this video or whenever you're watching this video. But hey, we're going to dive into it. This comes from Acts chapter 16. So if you remember Old Testament Thursday, we talked about ill-gotten treasures and how the righteous are delivered, the way of those who are wicked are thwarted. And so here we have somebody or two people. We have Paul and Silas, and they are out ministering. They're reaching people. They're on a missionary journey. And Paul meets this woman, or they see this female slave, and she is a fortune teller. She's telling people their fortunes and making money for her masters, the people who she belongs to. And so they get so annoyed with this woman who's following them around, yelling and chanting these things at them. And Paul turns at her and she says, "The spirit, get out of her right now, this impure spirit." And off it goes. She's no longer able to tell fortunes. This obviously makes her captors mad. They were making probably a lot of money off of her, and now that she's unable to do it, they go and they beat up Paul and Silas. And check this out in Acts chapter 16, verse 22. It says, "The crowd joined in the attack against Paul and Silas, and the magistrates ordered them to be stripped and beaten with rods. After they had been severely flogged, they were thrown into prison, and the jailer was commanded to guard them carefully. When they received the orders, he put them in the inner cell and fastened their feet in the stocks." Now you may be sitting there, you go, "Whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. You said that, the righteous get delivered and the ill-gotten gains are thwarted." Well, here, that's part one. The ill-gotten gains was using somebody who was had an impure spirit, something that was attacking them, something that was not good, and using it for their gain. They were making money off of a slave, off of, an impure spirit, a demon, whatever you want to call it, that was telling fortunes. Now it's gone. The ill-gotten gains are gone. And now we're just waiting for the righteous to be delivered. We know Paul and Silas are righteous. And so you may be wondering, how is this all going to pan out? Well, let's keep reading. Verse 25, it says, "About midnight, Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God, and the other prisoners were listening to them. Suddenly, there was a violent earthquake that the foundations of the prison were shaken. At once, all the prison doors flew open and everyone's chains came loose. The jailer woke up, and when he saw the prison doors open, he drew his sword and was about to kill himself because he thought the prisoners had escaped. But Paul shouted, 'Do not harm yourself. We are all here.'" And the rest of the story goes that Paul and Silas were able to talk to this jailer here, and they took him. They go to their home and they get saved. All this great stuff. The righteous were delivered in a way that was only only God could do. So what does this all have to do with you and me? Well, I want us to look at, oftentimes we see our world and we go, "Hey, how come, sinners have it so easy? How come they getting all these things, but I have to live a life of strict discipline and I've got to do this and I can't do that? How come it's like that?" Well, their ill-gotten gains will eventually catch up to them. Yes, in this story, or in this part of church history here, Paul was beaten and he was flogged, and Silas and them and were thrown into prison. We go, "Oh, that's not deliverance." Well, eventually they did. But it would seem to me that Paul and Silas were prepared for the long haul, singing praises and hymns in the jail. When it came down to it, Paul and the rest of the disciples are ready to face jail time. They were ready for death if it meant, the pursuit of God's kingdom. So yeah, sometimes deliverance can be, a physical, the jail door opens, but also we need to remember that deliverance also comes at the judgment. If you are a follower of Christ, if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus Christ is Lord and he raised from the dead, then you will be delivered from a spiritual death. I'm Pastor Adam. This has been New Testament Tuesday. I'll see you again next time.